Hi everyone. Please let me know if I'm live.
Ты хочешь не спутаться?
Hi everyone. We are about to begin in a couple of minutes. I just want to make sure I'm live so I could start. Shabbat Shalom, Sharon. Thank you so much for letting me know it's all good and I can start. So let me switch the camera. Hello. Hi, Christine. And good to see you. Yeah, I am live. Fantastic. Good. That's good. So you can hear me well, you can see me well. This is fantastic. So here we are, and we're actually not even in Jaffa. Oh, Gail, that was very quick. Thank you so much for the coffee. The tour has barely started, but I like to see coffees coming in. So this is going to be a tour of Jaffa. Hi Cindy, hi dear, good to see you. And it's going to be the tour of Jaffa. It's going to be the tour of the places I wasn't able to show you last time, because Jaffa, even though it's tiny, actually there's a lot to see. And today we're doing two tours back to back. First, it's called the Hidden Gems of Jaffa, because there are a bunch of them and I know I won't even be able to show you all of them. We might have some glitches in connectivity because today we're going to be passing through the mazes of the old Jaffa with old walls and narrow alleyways, but I hope it will be okay. It should be. Just judging from my previous experiences with virtual tours, it was okay. Way better than in Jerusalem city, old city, way better. And then we're going to have a sunset tour, but we are not going to miss out on any rays of the sun. We are going to start somewhere by the water. We're going to walk along the embankment, and when the sun says bye, we are going to explore a little bit of the train station, which is not far from the shore. Yeah, that's basically it. So let's begin. There are going to be two more tours tonight, as usual. I've been doing recently 4 tours per evening, so 8 tours per weekend. So it's more than 1 tour per day. I know it sounds wild, but yeah, that's the mode I've chosen for myself. And today I'm taking you to Peterhof to see the opulent palace of Peterhof and a little bit of the fountain park, which we didn't have a chance to finish with last time. And then I'll be finalizing my tour on the Russian communities and the immigrants, the refugees from the collapsing Russian Empire in China, including Jews, including Georgians. But now, well, here we are. St. Joseph is looking at us. I know it's a little bit blurry, but that's more or less okay. As you can see, yeah, we are in Tel Aviv. So we are in Tel Aviv. We are in Yafo neighborhood. Yeah, it's not entirely old Jaffa, but we're very close. Let me show you around a little bit. The roads are empty. That's because officially it's still Shabbat. So many people, many Jews prefer not to drive because it's against, according to the Jewish law, well, not the Israeli law, but the Jewish law. So driving is prohibited. But well, we are in the neighborhood where the population is mostly Arabs. There are a lot of Arab Christians and also Muslims that live here. And speaking of the Christians, well, what I'm showing you is clearly a very European architecture. And once you're in Israel and you see the European architecture in a good condition, so not in ruins, that's what I mean to say. Hi, Paddock, that's most probably 19th century, and that's true. Where are we exactly? Well, this is the Ajami neighborhood, which originated in the Ottoman times. Just to remind you, Ottoman times starting from 1500s, 1517 till 1917, for 401 year actually. Well, so 1516 we can say. This is for how long the Ottoman rule lasted in the Holy Land and finished with the First World War. In mid-19th century, the Ottomans started opening towards the west, and they allowed pilgrimages and purchase of the land for all the religious communities. And here the rich Maronite Christians mostly started purchasing the plots. Maronite Christians were normally, they referred to Lebanese Jews. So Jews from Lebanon, mostly northern Lebanon. And they started building here their homes, their schools, monasteries. And what we're looking at in the Yafet Street, this is like a compound of Saint Joseph School and Monastery. It's a Catholic order, and it is still run by the order of the Sisters of Saint Joseph of Apparition. These are schools now, and they're mostly Arab Christians that study there, mostly, but there are also Christians living in Jaffa, obviously. Hi dear, good to see you. I'd rather just stay a little bit in the shade. Right now, this neighborhood, there are also, for some reason, a lot of Philippines living here, and also there are a lot of Airbnbs. So you're kind of in the very heart of Tel Aviv. You're in the old part of Tel Aviv. There are some really affluent buildings there. If I zoom in, this is a very expensive real estate because, well, we're just like 5 minutes walk from the sea. Imagine the views from that side. Just imagine the views. Whew. We're going to have our share of the seaside views. Don't worry about that. And just let's look at the architecture here. I find it absolutely mesmerizing. You're by the sea. You have some beautiful architecture and the vibe. It's quite a special vibe here. I like to show you old photos, so I want to show you a couple of them. For example, this is the photos from 1950. And you can see this building, well, the building of the church. That's the church building, that's the school building. And the trees are way smaller, and now they look like that. So it took them 50 years. Hi, Sarah. It took them 50 years to grow to this side. Now I need to cross. Not sure if the traffic lights are on. I can't see any of the traffic lights because the sun shines directly on them. But I need to cross because there is another gorgeous building here. This is also neo-Renaissance Italian vibe architecture, 19th century, and this was the pilgrimage house for the order of Sisters of Saint Joseph of Apparition. And this building is just absolutely gorgeous. Now it belongs to a hotel, which we're going to see as well, not from the inside. Hi, Dorley, good to see you. Dorley, I'm so sorry I didn't have a minute to answer your messages. I don't think I even opened them. Had a bit of a wild morning, but it's okay. The building, I'm not sure if you can read that, but I can. Shabbat Shalom, dear. It's written there, the chapel. Not the entire building is the chapel, but the highlight of the building is definitely it. And I want to show you why. Look at that. That's what's hidden inside this building, the chapel. So the chapel that basically was intended for the prayers of the pilgrims that, like many other Christian denominations, and not only Christian groups, would be coming to Jaffa. They would be docking here, they would be staying here for some time before their trip to Jerusalem. I mean, as I said, it is beautiful. It is beautiful. As I said, it now belongs to the hotel, and the hotel has recently restored the chapel. And this is a like 5-star hotel, super expensive, and they organize all sorts of private events there. And normally the chapel is not accessible, but there are photographs, and also for those who are planning to visit Israel, it's doable to arrange a dinner. Fusion cuisine, and these dinners are done in this chapel. Just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous chapel. I'm absolutely in love. And by the way, there is another interesting photo taken in the 1950s. So these are the, I doubt that in the 50s this was the school, but at least some locals leaving the premises of the St. Joseph compound, at least the compound. And now we are we are on the road to Old Jaffa. If I continue all the way straight to just all the way down the road, I will find myself by the Kikara Shaon, by the clock tower, Jaffa clock tower. But we are not going there. We're not. Because we're here for another reason. In fact, from here I would have to go back and take you to the other street. But I promised you something. For those of you who saw my reel about the door place, so I promised I won't be disclosing the location, well, like publicly, but on my virtual tour, I'm going to do that. So it's here. So one day I was just walking down the street, and I was really I think I was even on the phone. And then I just looked to the right just to see that there wouldn't be cars. So I didn't want to be run over by a car. And then look what I discovered. I'll be talking quieter because this is also the residential building. And I don't want to, to have any issues. And these doors are here. Look at them. They are absolutely fantabulous. So in this building, there is the restoration workshop. There are, as far as I've been told that this is a very common business, in Jaffa. Some doors, I hope the dog is, the dog is barking here, but the dog doesn't sound too ferocious. At least I hope so. Yes. Look at this. So I guess they're just waiting to be restored. And I'm not sure what they're going to do with them, but there are a lot of houses that are now under restoration or at least some sort of renovation. But these are just magnificent. Some of them look very European. Sorry for the mess here. But some of them are quite, I would say, Ottoman, quite like Oriental vibe here. Oh, I think I'm going to need a couple of selfies here. What do you think? I mean, it's not all. I just hope the dog is not going to jump from out of nowhere. And well, that's interesting also. This building is clearly from the Ottoman times, and we know that the Ottomans would use the already existing construction material. They would just pick it up, whatever it was, a column from the Roman period, some Crusader period column, they would just take it and build it in. So that's the example. This one is something, I would say, this one is definitely someone just some glued it, to the wall just to add to the vibe, I would say. And also this. I mean, it's not only doors. Look at all these lamps. Aren't they amazing? That looked like just a bird cage, but this must be some sort of a case on the lamp. I'm not a big specialist on lamps, but I know these are very old ones. And some look European, some look... I have seen a lot of cats in Jaffa, but here I can see dogs mostly. But cats here more like stray cats, but the dogs, I haven't seen stray dogs. Israelis like dogs a lot. And the amazing thing, it's still really, I find it absolutely mind-blowing that Israelis have huskies, retrievers, you know, dogs that have very, very thick fur, collies. I have no idea how these dogs cope with the climate, but they seem very happy, well-loved, well-tended. I don't know how this works, honestly. It's a wow thing, absolutely wow thing. And that's not all. It's a mess. So this place is a mess. It's clearly some industrial site. But just don't mind that because, well, it comes with the package because it's a gem. So you have to find it somewhere. It's like a scavenger hunt in a way. Quite a nice scavenger hunt. Look at this. So many pieces of stained glass are still in place. That's stained glass. That's stained glass. Look at that. Oops, even my gimbal is like, wow. So that's a big workshop, and it's not the only one. I don't know if they are for sale. They must be for sale, but first they need to restore them before they would go up for sale. So we'll see. We'll see. So I'm just absolutely fascinated with that. I've seen a lot of similar lamps in the Shuka Pishpishim, in the flea market, but they are definitely in a way better condition and, well, thus cost more expensive. Look at this one. Goodness gracious. Wow. Oh, wow. So dogs are in good hands and paws. I think we've seen, just hold on a second, I think I need to recenter my phone maybe, because it's just tilting a little bit. Yeah, it's very much, does look like an artwork to me. You're very right. Wait a sec, I need to readjust somehow. Not sure how though. Wait a minute. Okay, maybe this will help. Or okay, the sound could have disappeared for a minute, but it should be better now. So that's just a little bit of a bonus. There are also some doors there. It's clearly out of place. It's just, I don't know what what it's doing there. Well, you said fabulous because I was saying absolutely fantabulous, absolutely. Well, here, for example, you can find all sorts of the doorknobs. Hi, Cheryl. It's nice to see you. Thank you so much for catching with my tours. I know life gets in the way. Hey, Mr. Gimbal, what's wrong with you? Wait a minute. My Mr. Gimbal is acting up because I guess it's just also overly excited about the doors. So I hope this will make it even. I also like the way the chapel looks from here. I mean, so this is the big compound for pilgrims. It's the pilgrim house. And this is, by the way, another community. I will quickly cross the street here so you could see there are some more lovely buildings that are very much reminiscent of some Andalusian buildings, white and blue style, or maybe Santorini. Well, this is the Tabita school again, so since 1863 the Tabita school. There's several religious facilities dedicated to Tabita. Tabita is the girl that was risen from the dead, that rose from the dead, thanks to Saint Peter, right? And this miracle happened here. I spoke about it on my tour. So that's why there is also the Tabita Church. And that's, by the way, a Russian church. I spoke about this church and I took you to that church because I have a video. This was done, the church was built to the donation of the Romanovs. But that church is not in this area. So I'm just kind of naming it. And from here, we need to go to Jaffa. So the name of the hotel is very timely. It's going to be sunny now. The sun is going to be shining right into our faces, so be ready for that. And we're not going into the hotel, but once we find a shade, I will tell you what's going on here. So look at this wall. This wall is actually part of the Ottoman times wall. But the Ottomans, when they came, again, as I said, they wouldn't really be reinventing things. They would make use of what had already been there. So they would take the construction material from the Mamluk and the Crusader period, so before that. And, well, they definitely needed to re-fortify Jaffa. And they would extend the walls and they would build the walls, but they would be using the outline that had been there. And mostly they would rely on the Crusader time layout of the old city of Jaffa. And once I find the shade, I will be able to show you a few things that I discovered. Because I went into the hotel right now to the left-hand side that I'm showing you. Just I know it's too sunny, but anyway, we'll stop here for a second. Actually, not even for a second, but so I went into the hotel to ask a few things about the chapel and like if it's okay, if it's possible to visit the chapel. Well, nevertheless, that didn't happen. Give me a second. But what I discovered there was a lot of fun, because that is what I found in the lobby. Let me turn it on for you again. Exactly in the very heart of the lobby of the hotel, there is the remnants of the Crusader period wall that dates to the 13th century, which is the end of the Crusader period. The last Crusaders left in the mid-12, well, closer to the end of the 1200s, ousted by the Mamluks, so the North African, Muslim tribes. And the Crusaders left us a bunch of sites all around the coastal plain. The thing is that Crusaders came in 1099, first of all to save the Holy Sepulchre Church, to take it from the hands of the infidels, meaning Muslims. And in early 10,000, in early 1000 BC, in early 1000 Common Era, the Holy Sepulchre Church was razed, and they needed to kind of, and they managed to to conquer Jerusalem quite quickly. Within less than a year, they managed to do that, and they managed to keep control of Jerusalem for less than 100 years, in fact. And in 1180s, they were ousted from Jerusalem, but they still kept the coastal plain, and they built a lot of fortresses, and the coastal plain, basically that's just all the territory of the shoreline, I would say even starting from Ashkelon and Gaza up until north of Akko, the entire coastal plain. I'm just looking for something, give me a second, but I think you don't mind looking at this interesting archway that I'm going to be talking about just in a minute. And if you're interested in Crusader, then you should definitely just make a trip all along the coastal plain, because there are a bunch of Crusader sites, and Jaffa was one of them, obviously. And ever since I would say, well, 19th century BCE. We will speak about it. It was a port. It was a very important place. So, look at this wall. It does look like not just an ordinary wall, right? And it's also a little bit tilted. So, this is the territory. So partly it was the pilgrimage house, but next to the pilgrimage house there was also a hospital. So the French hospital, so French Catholics, so the Order of Sisters of Saint John of Apparition, this is the French Catholic order. So there was the pilgrimage house, and on the spot of the hotel that is built there now, there used to be a hospital, French hospital that was built in the 1870s. Now, where are we? We are approaching Old Jaffa. So we are technically now entering the old city of Jaffa. And here we could go left, we could go right, but I'll just probably take my phone. Yeah, I know we were buffering. Am I back? Please tell me if I am back. What about now? Now I should be back. It should be fine. So how is it now? Back. Okay, very good. So Ronnie, I texted you back. It didn't work, just in case. It didn't work. Haven't heard anything since you approached the gate. Okay, so where were we? We just entered the old city. That area was always a little bit, challenging in terms of the connectivity, but something got really bad there, actually worse than that. So I'm not sure what exactly happened, because all the test runs of the connectivity before that. Okay, let me. Am I back? It shows me full bar now. I'm at the highest point in Jaffa, on top of the hill. So things should be just fine. Yes, okay, yes, Dorley, I am fine. I'm not sure what's wrong with the connectivity here. This has never been such a big issue. I'm not sure what is the reason, but okay, let's not waste any more time. So the area where I entered the city, the old city, it's the area where also Napoleon entered the city in 1799. And as you know, it took him only 3 days to take over the entire Jaffa and flood it with blood. Like 3,000 people were killed in the 3 days that Napoleon came in. But what I wanted to show you is this monument. It's a very important monument, and many of you may remember it from your visits or whatnot. But this is the suspended orange tree, and that's a contemporary art object for sure. But it's been here for, I believe, 20 years. Well, I'm actually not sure, maybe even longer. So it's a little bit over there, but I'm not going there because you would lose me again. I don't want that. I mean, it's taken a while for me to get back. I'm not sure what the issue is. So, but there is this monument to the famous Jaffa oranges. And the oranges were even. Exactly. I'm pretty sure that someone is messing up with the GPS and with the connectivity in general. So I guess it's been done for a reason like that, and it's messing up with my tours as well. But that's okay. I mean, as long as it helps fight the Houthis, it's okay. But who knows? Nevertheless, so the suspended orange, why it matters a lot. We spoke a lot about the oranges and Jaffa oranges and how important they were, and I want to show you just some old photos that I found. I always prepare gazillions of visual aids. So for example, this is just one of the orange groves. So what you see ahead of you is Jaffa, and the very, very first neighborhood that emerged outside of the Jaffa walls. This is the second half of the 19th century, and you can see that the rest of it is just the orange groves, the Shamuti oranges. I think it's a colorized postcard, in fact, of the 19th century. Not sure, to be honest, but it looks like it. And so oranges was the export's good number one, along with the olive oil and the soap that was mostly in the hands of the Ottomans. And oranges, they also helped saved people in the 20th century after the Second World War. Right, that's the disease that is caused by the vitamin C deficiency, and it helped save a lot of people, especially children and women, after the Second World War times, just because of the malnutrition and the exhaustion. But here we have something even older, way older. I'm not sure if the connectivity will drop. Shemuti oranges are very sweet. They also have very thick skin. That's why they were so easy to export, and they would arrive in the same condition they would be sent because of the thick skin. You're very right. This is one of my favorite spots in Jaffa, and actually we are. If you remember that, Jaffa is located on the hill, on the Tell, historic mound comprised of multiple layers of civilizations. And now we are approaching, you wouldn't believe it, but you can see we're going lower and lower. And in fact, we are hitting the level of the 19th century. 19th century BCE. 19th century BCE. Okay, like, take it all in. That's almost 4,000 years. So 4,000 years. What we're looking at is the so-called Ramses II gate. And what we see here are parts of the excavations that were carried out here in the 20th century. And they discovered the, archaeology of a city, kind of a garrison, from the times of Ramses II. Approximately that time. So what they place here, sort of it's obviously these gates, and what you see here, these are new gates. It's just kind of the stylization of what it could have looked like. And they put these stelas here, and there it's written the name of Ramses II in hieroglyphs. That's exactly how it would be written in the ancient Egyptian. I would have gone all the way down and up, but I'm not sure that the connectivity will be okay. And I don't want to challenge the connectivity anymore, because it's kind of yes, Ronnie Lynn, it didn't work. At least I didn't see any notifications on PayPal, at least not 30 minutes ago. So I'm not sure what the issue is, but I hope you will be able to sort it out there. But these are the restored bricks on top of the old brick. It's clearly not how it used to be. Clearly something's messing up with the signal. But that's for the better. Kind of should be okay with that. It means I also need to change a little bit. That's weird indeed. Here we can see the buildings over there. They used to be part of the neighborhood purchased by the Bukhara Jews in the 19th century, the Jews of Uzbekistan, the Bukharian Jews. That's where they used to settle. There was a very small neighborhood, but now it's just residential buildings, some hotels as well. And that's already the area of the old city. And we are within the old city, but it's on the highest point. So the last thing I was talking about, not sure how much you heard, but I said that was the territory of the kind of a BCE. Not in the full sense of the word, but the Egyptians, they traded with the Canaanites. Canaan is the name of this land. That later on Abraham and the Jewish people would inherit, would be given by God, promised by God. And I'm not sure if you can hear the St. Peter's Church, but it sounds nice. Is everyone else having issues with the sound? Because I'm talking right into the microphone. Please tell me how the sound is. Okay, it shows full bar. And we were in this area just last week. And last week the connection was fine. All of a sudden, for some reason, now it's so bad. I don't know what to think about it. I don't know what to say. So how is it? How is it doing? How is it going? Back. Okay. Why can't you hear anything, Dorley? Sorry, dears. I'm very sorry. I'm very disappointed about the connectivity. I have no idea why it's like that. But I will be just standing here and talking about, yeah, it's not about tech. I don't know what's wrong here because normally the connection was only challenging in the old walls in the first area where we had the issue. Nevertheless, I'm standing here. I'm not even moving, hoping for the signal to come back to us. And you can see a little bit of the sea. You can see how beautifully the sun is. It's not in my control, I know that, but it doesn't make me feel better. It doesn't, because I rely on connectivity. There's nothing else I can rely on. My knowledge and the connectivity. Okay, so nevertheless, what was I talking about? Yeah, from here you can see the territory. Am I cutting off for everyone? I need to know about the sound. I may just need to also switch off the... No, not cutting off. Okay. No cut off. Okay, good. So I can go on. Yeah, so here we see the church, yes, St. Peter's Church. We spoke about it. It's built to, to commemorate a very important thing, right? The miracle that St. Peter performed. The Apostle Peter, and from here we know he went all the way to Caesarea, which we can see maybe just a little bit all the way there, but it's behind the trees, and I don't want to move too much now, so I just rather stay put here. People are now going to the service. So the church opens for the services, and we are, I'm not sure if it's daily or it's only at weekends. That's a good question, because during the war times, all the schedules are messed up and change, I would say, very much and vary. But next to the church built in the 19th century by the Franciscans, over there, the white thing, let me show you. So that white thing is the part of the monastery, which is a functioning monastery, St. Peter's Monastery, that was originally established by the Crusaders that came here in the 11th century, and they decided to build this property on top of the Byzantine time church that was built here to commemorate the same thing. So Byzantine, that's starting from the 4th century, mid-4th century Common Era. So Crusaders would normally rely on the Byzantine traditions, and the Byzantines would mostly rely on the oral traditions, because during the Roman times, which preceded the Byzantine times, Christianity was persecuted, and it was deadly dangerous, I would say. And the Napoleon, whom I started talking about but didn't really come through with the plan, Napoleon, when he invaded the city, he settled down and he placed his garrison and his army on the territory of St. Peter's Monastery, which at that time did not function as a monastery because it was the Ottoman times already. So the Ottomans used it as one of their strongholds. That's the idea. I don't know why it's cutting off for Dolly. Dolly, maybe you can rejoin, because apparently it's something at your end. Because for other other viewers, it's not cutting off. Try rejoining, dear. I wish there was anything I could do. But apparently this is something that's not, finally, it's not my fault. But who knows, it might be mine as well. Now I start moving, going down. Again, the most interesting and I mean unpleasantly interesting thing is that I'm on the highest at the top of the tell, and here connectivity should be just superb as it's always used to be, but well, apparently that's not the case. Nevertheless, we're going down, and we are going to find ourselves in the Kikar Gdumim. I can't pronounce it in a more Hebrew way. Kikar Gdumim. I don't know how you do that. So, but these are, I was never really good with this, so I gave up on it. But the Kikar Gdumim, you can translate it as the square of the antiquities. And indeed, there's a lot of antiquities here. But it's also the place of the modern artworks and all sorts of places. As I told you last time, this is where the stage is. This is where the concerts are held and different events for the people of Jaffa, and not only, but you also may remember that underneath us there are at least 3,000 years of history underneath us. And last time I told you that they discovered the ruins that date back to Persian period. That's 2,500 years ago. The Roman period as well, the Greek period, and obviously what is newer. And I told you that they found a villa that belonged to a Jew whose name was Yehuda. So, and in Roman times it was totally fine. Romans and Jews, they lived next to one another, and the villa was somewhere there. Oh, I don't want to film children, but sometimes they're just in the frame. What you is something else. So this is the video that I filmed in this underground museum. So right now I'm walking down the street. So this is the street level from the Roman times. This used to be a Roman corridor. Corridor is the central street that runs from south to north, or north to south. And they found, so this is the Roman floor built on top of other archaeology that preceded the period. Oh, sorry. Okay, I need to probably, oh yeah, I got it. I was filming it in various modes. Hey, I know what I need to do. Give me a sec. I just need to edit the video and just rotate it. Good. So that's, hold on a second. I will do that. So that is me walking on top the bricks of the Roman road. And the Romans built it on top of the Persian period architecture. You see it now underneath. Obviously, Romans did not conduct any salvage excavation, so they just built on top of it. And then at some point, under the weight of the many other layers, it just went a little bit downwards. And this is what's not right now underneath us. There is the Merkaz Mevakrim, that's kind of a visitor center, and that's the street of the Roman period times, exactly underneath us. And that's one of those villas belonged, well, many of these villas belongs to the Romans, but one villa in particular belonged to a Jew. It had a very big farm. Look at this. So there's a lot going on there. This is the Roman street, some villas around it. Look, over here used to be a big street. So it's indeed called Kikar Gdumim because here used to be a Kikar, and here used, well, one of Okay, am I back? Please tell me if I am, because I want to be switching to the next tour, but I want to make sure that you are still here. Okay, so sorry, I need to apply some of the sunscreen and also maybe show you this, the sunscreen powder, because it's not convenient to use the cream now. Yeah, I'm back. I had to basically reboot the entire phone. I don't know what's going to happen in a minute. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. So, yeah, Dolly, I got your sarcastic comment about the hidden gems. You are very right. They're very hidden and you could see nothing. I have no idea what's wrong with the connection here, but thank you everyone for your patience. So now what I need to do is to say bye-bye to you because I will see you on the next tour. I will see you on the next tour in a minute. The second link, you got the link. There's a pinned comment here, right? That also has the link to my website, and just in case, that's where you can find the link for just for the tour, okay? And that's where we meet in 2 minutes from now, okay? Sorry for all the connectivity issues. I could have shown you so much more. It couldn't be helped. That wasn't really my fault. I hate it. I'm sorry, but Cheryl, you can watch the recording as well. That's not a problem when you have time and if you feel like. And if you feel like supporting me, well, again, I wasn't able to show you everything I wanted, but I will try to make up for all the stories I missed out of this fighting with the connectivity. I will share it on the next tour in 1 minute from now. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for not losing faith in me. At least for those who are still here, I'll see you soon. Thank you, Ronnie.